Welcome back to 843 TV. Now we ventured outdoors to this beautiful environment. We are at Widgeon Point Preserve, which is just over the Broad River Bridge. And joining us now is Destiney.Rains. She is a passive park naturalist, and we're going to learn all about you and your role in all this beautiful area. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, start with telling us what your role is with the county.
Yeah, so I'm the Passive Parks Naturalist. I started in August of last year, shortly after the Passive Parks program became its own Passive Parks department. And my boss, who had been working on this program for almost 6 years now, one of her main goals was to bring on an environmental educator. So that was kind of one of the first things she did when she became her own department.
And I think it's so important just because of this beautiful area that we're at. It deserves its own department. So congratulations on getting to be in charge of that. Just tell us again the overall scope, some of the goals, the missions that you have.
Yeah. So the Passive Parks Department, the main goal is to just, most of our properties are purchased or obtained by the county with the main goal of being conservation, preservation, and cultural and natural resources. So that's kind of the main thing. And then on top of that, we wanted to offer a safe and comfortable place for people to come out and enjoy a little bit of the nature that we have here in Beaufort County.
Now, of course, the beautiful nature is all around us in Beaufort County, but you've got certain parks that you designate. Can you tell us a little bit about where those are in the county?
Yeah, so we're kind of spread out all over. Most of our properties are over in Beaufort proper. So we've got Crystal Lake Park and Whitehall Park, which are both located on Ladies Island. We've got, you come over the Broad River Bridge, we've got Widgeon Point Preserve, which is right here. And then you go into Okatie, we've got a few properties out there like Camp St. Mary's and Altamaha Town Heritage Preserve. And then we're working on a few proproperties on Hilton Head as well.
Neat, very neat. Well, all those places that you mentioned are definitely beautiful. And let's talk about the nature. You mentioned, of course, we mentioned about the marshland. Some of this is inhabitable or walkable, or some of it's not. Just kind of share a little bit about some neat facts about that.
Yeah. So Widgeon Point here is about 170 acres of property, but only about half of it is usable by land or walkable. The other half is mostly marshland. So we've got this nice bird blind back here that overlooks a little bit of that lagoon. You see a lot of different types of wading birds, pelicans, different types of herons out here. And then we have just short of a mile earthen walk-in trail.
Very neat.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, let's talk about the lagoons a little bit here. Are those, just tell us about those saltwater lagoons.
Yeah.
What kind of education do you need to tell us about the lagoons? I know there's alligators in there. People are always wondering about that.
Yeah. So this area back here is brackish, which is brackish water, which is a mix of salt and fresh water. And then once you get towards the back of the island, you see more of salt water, and it overlooks the Broad River So that's all salt back there. But up in here, we do get a little bit of freshwater intrusion, rainwater, things like that, and it occasionally does close off at the back there, just with sediment moving and things like that. So
of course we know the marsh is a huge part of our area. Share with a little bit about sort of the statistics about the salt marsh in our area.
Yeah, absolutely. So in South Carolina, we have about 4.5 million acres of wetlands. About 90% of that is freshwater, and then 10% is saltwater marshlands.
Yep, very neat. It's neat talking to you because you are educating me and educating our viewers. That's why we're doing this today as far as that. Now, back to the passive parks. What does that actually mean? And we mentioned pocket parks. What's the distinction there?
Yeah, so pocket parks are just small areas of land. There's not a whole lot that you can do out there, and that's kind of the way that we like it. We want to preserve as much natural resources as we can, so we don't like to have a lot of structures on our properties, but with a pocket park, you'll see a bench or a picnic table. They're nice areas if someone would like to read a book or sit down and have a picnic with their family, something like that. And then most of our passive parks usually do have restrooms on them of some degree, maybe a pavilion or two, bird blinds, things like that. But we do try to keep the structures very, very minimal.
Which takes us to the maintenance. So the county is in charge of maintenance in these areas as well.
Yes, we do. We do maintain most of the properties, but there are some that we share with the cities and towns in Beaufort County.
Well, we're going to talk about your education programs coming up because there's a lot of those. So you stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV.
Sounds good.